This is the Cubs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Cubs Postcast here on the Locked On Cubs audio and YouTube channels. Joe George here with you. You can find me on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio as the Cubs win the last game of this series 2-0 over the Atlanta Braves. In the game that everyone thought, man, it's Chris Sale on the mound. They're not going to do nothing. They got some help in this game. We'll discuss that, the lineup's performance. We'll talk about a bounce-back outing from Phil Maton and this bullpen overall. But we will kick off our show tonight with our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
No question about it tonight. The Locked On Player of the Game today is Ben Brown. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. That means in his last 2 starts that he's made, he's gone 8 innings, given up 1 hit, 2 walks, 10 Ks. I mean, Ben Brown, this is a totally different guy than we saw last year. And we knew it was good. Like, it had been good in the bullpen so far this year. The everything is arsenal has just been better. I mean, we saw him touching 98 in this game. And with all the injuries that have happened in this rotation, what Ben Brown has done these last 2 outings has been highly impressive. And it makes you wonder a lot of what his role is going forward. Like, it's as long as Matthew Boyd is out, I'm hoping that the next evolution of this with Ben Brown is see if they can stretch him out a little bit, let him go deeper in the games. Now, maybe this is the best version of Ben Brown, that letting him go 4 innings is the best. And look, in today's Major League Baseball, where so much has changed in terms of how long pitchers go and how deep they go into games, how many pitches they throw, maybe this is a sweet spot for him, these 4 innings. But he has just been absolutely incredible against 2 teams that largely, like, without Ben Brown, like you're just not performing well overall in, the last 7 days. But today, just everything he needed, he got. So phenomenal performance from Ben Brown. It really felt like in this one, the Braves didn't stand much of a chance. I mean, when Ben Brown's in the game, they really only have first and second after the hit by pitch, which that had to hurt, with 1 out. And then Ben Brown gets a strikeout and a pop-up to end the inning. That was the only real opportunity for damage that the Atlanta Braves had in this game. He was able to quickly work out of it, had a bunch of counts in his favor, getting things going his way. So very impressive day for Ben Brown overall against the Atlanta Braves. Now, to win a baseball game, we all know you got to score some runs. And the Cubs definitely got some help in this game, and that'll lead us right into our turning point of today's game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
All right, so the turning point of this game has to be what happens here in the top of the 6th inning, not the top of the 6th inning. We have to go back to when the Cubs get their first run of the game, which is a total mess. So I apologize. It was the 6th inning. Ian Happ walks, and you got runner on first base with no outs. And then Seiya Suzuki hits into what should be a double play, and an unfortunate situation for the Cubs where you could build some momentum. They had chances early. We'll get to those. But instead, the Braves just kind of do what Nico did in last night's game, where they make a big-time mistake. The ball goes over the second baseman's head, and all of a sudden, Ian Happ's at third, and you got first and third with no outs. Matt Shaw gets the fielder's choice to make it 1-0 Cubs for the second out of the inning. But the speed there for Matt Shaw, very important. He had an impressive day overall. I mean, yes, do you want to do more than just get the ground ball in that situation? Yeah, I think in a perfect world, you obviously do. But putting the ball in play there is what's important, and he does. And he gets Ian Happ in for the Cubs to get their first run of the game. He steals second base. They do nothing with that, but gets a nice fielder's choice RBI, stolen base. And then in the bottom of the 8th, the play that he has in right field, the long-term outlook for this team, one of the things that isn't as much of a talking point now, but will be, into the offseason, especially Matt and Sam will be talking about it, is all the guys that are free agents. One of them is obviously Seiya Suzuki. So how is Matt Shaw going to handle right field? And I think for the most part this year, he's handled it really well. And the play tonight there in the bottom of the 8th, where he cuts off the ball, gets it in as quick as he can, shows off his arm strength, his speed, stops Baldwin getting to second base, was a very impressive play. So I think Matt Shaw is checking a lot of the boxes that you want to see him do as a right fielder. The bat continues to be good for him. as well. But, a good day for him. Not player of the game worthy. There probably was one other guy as well that was worthy of it, and that would be Ian Happ. He gets that single there in the top of the first. That gave you first and second with one out. You got nothing after it, but gets a single there. Had that walk that we just went over in the top of the sixth, but then in the top of the eighth inning, he comes up, hits a blast, hits his 10th home run of the season, and need that run support when your bullpen has been stressful at times this year. And, like Ben Brown was way out of the game at that point. So kudos to Ian Happ as well tonight, getting that home run there, much needed for the Cubs in a game in which, look, how do you describe the offense in this game? It's okay. Like the first inning, Alex Cohen went over there on the broadcast. If you didn't hear of the Cubs' first 4 hits, the average exit velocity on the hits was around 81 miles an hour. So it's not like in the beginning they were crushing the ball off Chris Sale. They had opportunities to score. At the top of the first, you get Ian Happ and Bregman with a single, and then Matt Shaw and Seiya Suzuki both strike out. Top of the second, Miguel Amaya gets a hit, PCA gets a hit. Both those are not hard contacts. You got first and second with 2 outs, and then Nico Horner flies out. So in the beginning of the game, they had opportunities to put on major damage against Chris Sale. They're not able to do so, but ultimately it doesn't matter because you get the one at bat from Shaw that brings someone in, and you get the Happ home run to get it done. But the Cubs go 0 for 7 in this game with runners in scoring position. So another day where it's just not quite great in that department. And that's probably the nicest way to say what the Cubs have been this season with runners in scoring position. Again, they're in the 20s in terms of OPS and batting average with runners in scoring position. Might have dropped a little bit further even after this game today. We'll take a break. When we get back, we'll talk more about what we saw from this game. Alex Bregman, the bullpen in this one, a good bounce back from Phil Maton. We'll get to that next year on the Locked On Cubs postcast. Today's show is brought to you by Rocket Money. If you've ever opened your bank account and thought, where did all my money go? You're not alone. Keeping track of subscriptions, spending, and bills can get overwhelming fast. That's where Rocket Money comes in, helping you take control of your finances all in one place. It tracks all your subscriptions in one spot, helps you cancel the ones you don't need within just a few taps. You don't have to leave the app to go anywhere. It cancels it for you right inside of Rocket Money. And you can set budgets, get alerts, and stay on top of upcoming bills. It just makes everything feel more organized and gives you a clear picture of your finances day to day. Rocket Money is your personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your goals faster by joining at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. I like using FanDuel during the playoffs because everything you need to see is right there in one place. Stats, trends, matchups, all of that right there for you. So before you make your picks, you can be informed and know what you're doing going into the games. Easy to navigate. Take a look at what's coming up, whether it's immediate games, futures, whatever you want. The Bears schedule just dropped. So week 1 lines are going to be coming out on FanDuel before you know it. Head to FanDuel.com right now to get started. FanDuel, play your game. All right, Alex Bregman in this one gets another hit here in the first inning. 1 for 4 day. Like you're not seeing with Bregman a bunch of big numbers, but this puts him on a 5-game hitting streak, and the exit velocity there is still there in pretty much every at bat. He has been hitting the ball much, much better as of late. And yes, the results really don't show what it is, but I think we're seeing a big positive sign from Bregman. And that to me is, of all the struggles that are going on through this lineup, it's the one thing that I think I can point to and say that stands out the most. Like you still have Ballesteros when he's in there struggling, Dansby Swanson, a bunch of people asking about Dansby Swanson sitting him. Look, I get where you're coming from. I do. I think it's a fair question. But the reality is Dansby Swanson's defense is so good, and he's a veteran on this team that I don't think until you get into August, it would even be an honest conversation the Cubs would have. And even then, I don't see it. It is just the reality of who he is as a player. Is the batting average is bad, but he has to be out there for his defense and frankly his contract. Like when you get rewarded a contract, you do not get benched and taken out of games in the way that someone like Moises Ballesteros is doing. It's just not the reality of the situation. Unfortunately, again, I get why you're asking because it's been brutal up there for Dansby Swanson. But we saw again tonight where like he makes plays defensively that are so important to this team. And I see Jim here say in the chat, I don't care about the defense so much. You have to score to win. Agreed. Counterpoint, the Cubs do not beat the San Diego Padres last year in the playoffs without Dansby Swanson's defense. I do agree. But it's not just Dansby either. It is everyone. Everyone in this lineup is struggling. We're talking about Alex Bregman getting 6 hits over 5 days as a positive stride for this lineup. They're struggling with runners in scoring position. You're not able to get, the production that you need right now. But yeah, I don't think Dansby is going to be out there. And I agree with Rob here in the chat too. It's not like Nico is bad defensively at shortstop. He's not. He is not. But it would shock me if Craig Counsell were to make a move like that. Ian Happ has struggled in the past. He doesn't miss out. Craig Counsell plays them. They might move him down in the order. But there are just certain guys who are going to be locked into this lineup no matter how bad things are going for them. And Dansby Swanson is going to be one of them. Now, as we get later into the season, could that change where maybe Matt Shaw plays more at second if he's hitting well? Absolutely. Is it a conversation for the offseason as you have a guy like Matt Shaw if you want him in right field or at second? Yes. But for today, it's just the reality that the lineup is scuffling and Dansby's part of it. But you got the win today. And let's talk more about how they got that. We talked about the lineup. We talked about Ben Brown. Phil Maton came into this game. We'll get to him in a second. I want to highlight everyone that came in from the bullpen because they were very good. 5 innings, a shutout ball. Holby Milner comes in first, gets you 2 really strong innings, throws 25 pitches. He's got a 2.21 ERA on the season. I feel like he does not get the love that, even a guy like Riley Martin has gotten at times this year, but he's been a really solid force in the Cubs bullpen. So really positive for him. 2 innings. Phil Maton gives up a hit as well. Each guy in the bullpen gave up a hit. Phil Maton comes in. Now, look, after yesterday, listen to Matt and Sam's podcast about, Phil Maton potentially being a miss. He hadn't given up an earned run since coming off the injured list until yesterday. But yesterday was bad. And before the injured list was bad. So it's really nice to see Maton come back and get a inning like he did today, getting 2 strikeouts, having some hard contact, and not letting totally, implode on him. Because I don't think any Cubs fan feels comfortable with Phil Maton in the game. But today, good. Jacob Webb as well gets you out of the inning with only giving up 1 hit. And then Daniel Palencia comes in, who I feel like we haven't seen in forever. He pitched on Sunday, but his last save situation, I think looks like it was the 5th was his last save situation, only his 3rd save on the season, but he's touching 101, looks good. Like it, in a weird way, like I'd like to see Palencia be able to be out there more. Either that's where you're winning a bunch of games and you just have to pitch them, or at least in these close games. And obviously, he's not going to pitch a ton in games you're losing. I know he did the other day, gave up the home run, but he was nails as well in this game. So, I heard JD and Alex Cohen on the broadcast talking about salvaging a series. I don't like. Yeah, they won a game in this series. I would have liked to come in and face the number 1 team in the National League and win this series for the Cubs. So 2-4 over the last 6 isn't the worst. You do still have a chance to come out, above 500 on this road trip as now the Cubs get ready for the best crosstown classic in terms of just quality that we've had in years. I mean, the White Sox look like they're going to win today. They're going to come into this series above 500. They hadn't been 500 this late into the season in like 4 years. This is a really good series coming up. The White Sox are a up-and-coming baseball team with a lot of talent, and I cannot wait because, again, for the first time in forever, this series is actually going to matter for both teams and both fan bases. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're going, I'm jealous, but the Cubs go in with the W, at least go into the series on a 1-game win streak, and we'll see what it looks like coming up here over the weekend. We'll be here with you guys all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right here, as always, live on YouTube as soon as the game ends. Audio drops right after. Again, you can find me on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. Matt and Sam will have their show coming up here in just a little bit tonight. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night after game 1 of Cubs Sox. See you then. Peace.